So I have a question for you. What does Minecraft mean to you? Now that it's sunny out, let me actually ask the question again without the whole ominous nature to it. What does Minecraft mean to you? I mean, the game is now 15 years old, so why does it matter today now? Why are people still playing this after 15 years? Why am I still playing this after 15 years? Is it for jumping from world height and dying a lot in the process? Or is it me accidentally wearing the elytra while recording that clip and totally faking my entire MLG thing to farm content? Is it building? Combat? Mini games? Is it a game engine now? I mean, at this point, I'm kind of confused at what Minecraft truly is. I guess I can start with the easy things of what Minecraft means to me. So, I mean, like, what do I actually enjoy about the game? Start off, PvP isn't my style. Despite all my friends being PvP people in this game, I have never really just gotten into combat at all. Like, I try to be a fighter, but my heart isn't fully into it most of the time. So, since I'm not really into combat, I guess that means, for me at least, Minecraft doesn't mean a game. It's not something I play to enjoy or be like a gamer to succeed or win in. I really don't know how to answer this question though, because it's quite the broad, like, idea. I mean, Minecraft is anything you want it to be, so, you know, there really isn't a huge limit to that. I just think it's an like, I do think there's an answer for it, but I think we need to go a bit more further back. For Minecraft, for me at least, when I first got introduced to it, like, I was very young. For you see, I'm not a super old person, if you've realized that yet. I am still quite very young, and I got introduced to Minecraft at a very young age. And I remember it was from my brother, he introduced it to me, and he showed me, like, the Pocket Edition when it first came out, and he was like, oh, this is such a cool thing you can do, you can create and build, and create worlds, and that kind of stuff. And I looked at it, and I went, that game looks stupid. I thought Minecraft was stupid. And over time, obviously, the game got updated, and I think they introduced, like, survival at one point on the mobile. And there was also, like, multiplayer with it, and my brother was like, oh yeah, you should join. And we could do a little world together. And I played for a while, and I was, like, so enthralled with so much of the, like, charm of the world. Like, to me, I was like, this game looks ugly as crap as, like, a child. Like, I was slandering this game. I was like, the textures are really rough. The lighting, obviously, if you've seen Pocket Edition lighting back in the day, it was not, you know, it wasn't like an RTX, whatever, but it didn't have to be. But after a while, I kind of got used to it, and I was like, you know, this kind of doesn't look bad, and I kind of admire most of the stuff that's going on here. So I continued playing and playing, and I think my greatest memory from the Pocket Edition, at least, was the nether reactor core. I thought that was a really cool thing where you could generate like a giant like nether structure into your worlds and just like fight things. It's very similar to like what they're doing with like the ominous trials, where it's like you can choose to play something whenever and bring a challenge. So I thought it was cool, and I thought the block was really neat. And, you know, obviously the game started evolving over time, and more, and more, and more. And eventually, like, I moved away from Pocket Edition. Like, I played it a lot when I had my, like, phone on me or whatever. Or, like, a tablet. And, but I also started getting into Java. My brother owned an account, and he got it a long time ago. And he, you know, I learned what Hypixel was, and I was like, whoa, servers are kind of cool. And I really like what they're doing with this, so I played on Hypixel a lot, and, you know, they added things like zombies, for example, that game mode, really early on, and I was so enthralled with like the way that you could just like play multiplayer and the way that Java eventually had mods with like Lucky Blocks, and the more I explored, the more I discovered, and also Minecraft unironically taught me how to do tech skills. Like, I did not know how to manage files and folders, and then I played Minecraft and I was like, oh, this is how you download a world. And I vaguely remember as a child, our computer, for whatever reason, had zip files set as PDFs by default, so I didn't ever know how to use those files. And then I figured out, oh, you can change what the default program is. So that was like a little introduction to that. But most of my time focused on Minecraft when I really got back into it was on the console edition on the PlayStation. I thought the minigames were a lot more polished compared to like whatever, and most people weren't tryharding back in the day on console minigames. So it was really cool to see that. I feel like to many, the console edition probably holds a place in many people's hearts. And then as well as that, you know, I think the console edition, in my opinion, was the best way to play with friends on console. Like, you might have not had, like, commands or any of those, like, really super nifty features, but it was functional, and it was polished, and it was actually meant for the platform it was created on. And even if there wasn't crossplay, like, it was still, like, very well done. And I really admired that. So, you know, I've played on almost, like, every version of Minecraft I could get my hands on, from things like, I have played, like, the console editions, I've played the, I've played the console editions on both the Xbox and the PlayStation. I've played Minecraft on the Switch, I've played Bedrock for a while, I played Java, and I've played Pocket Edition. And there's so many, like, little quirks of every version that I admired so much. And the way that it had such, like, the way that everything just evolved and the game evolved over time, for me at least, it was really fun to play on all these different versions. Like, I liked the quirks of everything, even if they weren't all the same. And there were things like, oh yeah, there's no mods on Pocket Edition, but like, I had the luxury of at least being able to go to different versions if I wanted to. Which not everyone had, obviously, but you know, I think that was a cool thing about Minecraft. Like, it was such like, you know, dare I say indie back in the day, where you could just play any of these versions and just, you know, be like, oh, that's why it's like that, because there's a different coding language or error or whatever. That's pretty much it. It's pretty self-explanatory. So what I used to use creative mode for was definitely a lot of, like, mini games as a kid. Like, I would definitely make, like, the cheesy parkour maps that were really bad, and all of, like, the cringy, like, adventure maps with the signs, and you know it, 2010 Minecraft person. And it was glorious. Even if many people don't look back at it fondly. But I definitely remember using creative mode for that. I also remember using creative mode to obviously do the one thing that everyone does in their Minecraft career. Cheat. I've definitely done that in my world a couple... Ooh, this is one block off. How did I miss that? This is definitely, like, one of the... I mean, major things that creative mode has brought that can be seen as controversial, but, you know, you play how you want to play. And if it kills motivation, it kills motivation. For me, though, I was always, like, I remember on Pocket Edition, I used to have this one world where I would always just flip-flop between creative and survival, because, like, you know, I wasn't super good at the game, but I wasn't also super terrible, and I wanted to make threats. That was a big thing of my character. I liked to make threats. And if that meant spamming a bunch of Enderman spawners around my base and watching them as they pick apart my world and house and everything else made out of endstone, then so be it. Because, you know, that is a great way to spend your Minecraft time. As well as that, creative mode can also be used to, like, practice building, or even just be used as, like, a building canvas. For me, I never really used it as a building canvas. I didn't really understand that, in all honesty. Like, I get the idea that it might be cool to do such a thing, but I don't know. I just didn't like, oh yeah, you can make this big empty world, or like this, you know, you can make a world, period. And, you know, it just works out fun. Like, it's meant to just be, you know, a place where you can do things. And it's just, you know, almost like a blank canvas. Like, you're just painting something. I never really was, like, someone who would just go in creative and paint something. Like, I totally, like, I respect the people who do it. My one friend definitely loves doing that. But to me, like, it almost felt, like, to me, and to me now, like, it feels almost purposeless, because, sure, you can add a story, you can add whatever to that build, you can add emotion, but it's done in creative, so it almost doesn't feel lived in. And that's one thing that I really like about survival, because when you play in a survival world, like, that creeper explosion that blew up your, like, that blew a hole in your base the other week, like, that adds character, like, because you lived through it, it frustrated you, and then you just go back to doing what you were previously doing. And so, like, definitely to me, I haven't used it as, like, an unlimited canvas to all its wonder. I also suppose, like, you know, for example, in a creative world, I used to build my builds beforehand, but, like, it didn't really tie into the world all the time. Like, while it was cool to, like, you know, fulfill a list and grind resources to make a really cool base, you know, sometimes it would be, like, overly massive or overly small, and it didn't really, like, connect me to the world almost. Like, I like when, you know, if you live in a world like in survival, it really, like, brings, like, a storytelling nature to the world. Like, oh, I found that pottery shard by chance, and now I'm gonna add it to my base as, like a homage. But then, like, with a, you know, if you rebuilt it and you're like, I want this pottery shard with this, and this to, you know, forcefully tell a story, it's like, on one hand, that's fine for some levels, but, like, on other hands, it's like, well, I mean, is there a more interesting way to do such a thing? And I always think there is. Ooh. Creeper. And then here's another thing, like, with builds and stuff, right? You have, like, in survival worlds, you actually have, you know, oh, why is that entire mesa dug out, and why does it look so ugly? And it's like, oh, because I wanted to do, you know, this for a project. And it's like, are you ever going to clean that up? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, the mesa is a place to use the resources, and you can see where the resources came from the world by just exploring. Like, exploring this game is so much fun. And it is wonderful. So anyways, let's talk about other aspects of creative, because I kind of got sidetracked. I really like, you know, making adventure maps sometimes. I mean, back in the day, they were definitely a lot more popular and that kind of stuff. But even to this day, like, I do have a soft spot for them, and I encourage anyone to make whatever they feel, whether it's a minigame map or it's an adventure map, and do it with any skill level you have. Like, nowadays, like, you know, the standard is, like, probably data packs or, like, command blocks. But even then, you don't need to know how to do that stuff to create the things. Like, you can just use signs and then say, go here, go here. Okay, so regarding survival, like, I talked about, like, the whole, like, experience of, like, living in the world and then, like, you know, turning it into your own thing and that kind of stuff. And that definitely applies definitely to a more, like, single-player setting. However, one thing I've really been neglecting is, like, the social aspect of this game. Like, you can play on servers and have, like, that type of, like, mini-game, you know, things, but there also are, like, large servers that also, you know, host survival. And some of those are very vanilla, some of those are not vanilla at all. But, like, on servers and stuff, like, there's definitely that huge social aspect, especially with, like, private servers. Like, if you make your own server, whether it be on Eternos or you, like, self-host or do all that fun shenanigans, there will be, like, the experience you will have of just a server with a bunch of friends doing a random, like, a bunch of random shenanigans and just fooling around for days on end, just for it to die within a month and then come back like 3 months later, whether it be on a new world or the same world. I think that is the peak Minecraft experience. Because it definitely shows a thing about Minecraft where nothing is permanent, and you can still have a good time with this game. Like, I don't like restarting worlds often. It's why I have this long-term survival world. But, you know, my friends, obviously, love to, you know, restart the worlds. And, you know, I also think that makes sense because, like, on a social aspect, if you're on a server for a while and the game gets updated a lot, you probably don't want, like, larger server files and that kind of stuff, and you don't want it to perform badly. Because this game's optimization is scary, but, you know, we're playing on the snapshot right now. And with the new chunk changes, it's actually been performing pretty well. Like, even recording-wise, like, I am not lagging as much as I used to. So I really admire that. But, with, you know, like, a personal server and how it restarts, it gives you new chances for new narratives, new experiences, all that stuff. Like, a while ago, we had a server where we all lived separately in our own domains. I think I had, like, a castle. There was a volcano, you know. It was all right. But then we just kind of like, you know, it kept restarting, and after a couple years now, we had a world where we were in a cherry grove together, a really small cherry grove, and we were all neighbors where I bunked under everyone in a giant hole that I built. And my friend played with the new cherry blocks, and it was just wonderful. So, you know, after a while, the you know, worlds definitely evolve and they bring new experiences, and that's really cool. To put it simply, because, you know, you just get to do the thing you love, and you get a new clean slate to build new memories. And it's also nice because if you archive those worlds, you can get to go back to them anytime. And most people don't do that, and then they're like, then they get really nostalgic, and then it gets really sad because they'll never be able to go back to it. But like, for me, I make sure to like definitely archive things and make sure things are well documented to ensure like things can be preserved for long periods of time. I was thinking we could do like a coarse dirt base here, although then I realized my resource pack makes coarse dirt look like the Minecraft dungeons coarse dirt. So I might just mix it with regular dirt and hope that grass doesn't grow. Mayhaps. And what the heck, let's just use regular coarse dirt. But making those new memories on like, I mean just in general, like making the memories on those worlds with friends and like actually spending the time and doing things with them. Even if it's like something as pointless as like strip mining and just chatting on a voice call, or even, you know, hijacking a warden into someone's base in a giant wooden oak box. I mean, I think all of it is, like, that is Minecraft and its key element right there. And, like, but the social aspect isn't what it means to me. Like, it's so hard to put this into words. I think we need to go a bit more deeper now, because, you know, we've been focusing on the gameplay for a bit. Alright, so before we continue, I just wanted to say that, here's a build update. So I built the stairs down here, I cleaned up the area, I dug this out, and I added a lot more light sources, I added gravel to some areas, and yeah. That's pretty much it. I also added this wooden thing here, because I want to put a map here, and I want to see, like, make it like the max map size, so that we can just see our world when walking past here. It's something minor, and I might not even ever really look at it, but, you know, in the event of this, I think it would be cool to have it. So, yeah. Over here, I have this little, like, closed-off area, and, like, you can get stuck in here, and I might do something with it, but as of now, it's just a bit of a blank space. Over here, I definitely have plans to do. Flower Forest is a whole different story. But in here, we have 3 ways in here, so I want this to kind of be like a hub area. We're not going to build like everything and expand this entire thing today, but there definitely something can go over here, something can go over here, and then this can be whatever. I think over here I'm going to lead a thing in more like go downstairs, because I have a project in mind that would be pretty cool for this building, since it is kind of like at the origin of our world, so it feels like there might need to be like a very like core foundation. So yeah, So with that, we can continue building right now, and I'm pretty sure I want to like just do something similar to what I did in the beginning area near like the actual spawn thing. As well as that, I want to set up another portal there because I think that you know, it's easier to retrieve stuff if I have the things there. Whoopsie. We can do this. So, for context, in 2018, I finally, it was 2018 or 2019, I finally got a Minecraft account. Like a personal Java Minecraft account. And I was ecstatic because it was great to like actually own something and have my own skins and all that kind of stuff. And the first thing that I really like discovered was like the snapshots for like the Buzzy Bee update. And they were like changing stuff with like the rendering engine and that kind of stuff behind the scenes. And for whatever reason, I was just like, what if I play on the snapshot and like change the textures and learn how to do that kind of stuff? And before you know it, I changed a block texture, and then I changed an item texture, and then so then I uploaded a painting, and then from there it kind of just kept evolving and evolving. And then I reached the point where I was like, I wonder, since it was like Halloween, I was like, I wonder if it would be possible to add a like carved pumpkin onto a creeper using like, you know, just the texture packs and stuff. And unfortunately that didn't work well because if you know, texture resolution things exist. So if you try downscaling the pumpkin texture and then wrap it around the creeper model, it doesn't. Since texture resolutions existed, it didn't downscale the pumpkin right. And as a result, I was like, I wonder if there's a way to like maybe even edit the model. And then I discovered Optifine has support for a thing known as custom entity models. So then I got into Optifine and stuff, and I downgraded my pack, and then I started playing with models, and, you know, before you know it, I was pretty good at, like, resource pack stuff. Like, I made my own textures, I was fooling around. Sometimes I even took stuff from, like, things that really interest me. Like, later in 2020, Minecraft Dungeons released, and I was like, I want to extract textures from there. And then I did. But, as time went on and I followed the snapshots and really got into like the more like actual like technical modding side in quotes, it's really not, I mean, yes, it is modding, but it's not like the Fabric Forge type of modding. So when I was doing that, I was like, oh, they're making these changes to resource packs. And I think after 1.16 released, they added a pretty big feature to data packs, and it was like literally custom world generation, and it wasn't fully implemented in yet. Like, it was definitely like very experimental, and it still is quite experimental, but it was there, and it was like I remember just trying to break it down. So then I got into the data pack side, and then I figured out what tags were, which, I mean, tags are wonderful because they literally change almost everything in the game most of the time when it's like with gameplay tags. And essentially, as the updates kept going on, I kept just exploring and exploring and exploring and learning and learning and learning. And I got really good at it. Like, I can make my own data packs now, and that's like a pretty big thing now, especially when data packs are almost becoming like mods now, because recently in 1.20.5, they actually did implement like custom like item components, and it essentially almost lets you it lets you it essentially lets you create custom items with the existing items in the game, because you can essentially just change how they work. And I think that was pretty cool. So I kept doing that, and now we're here. And I make mini game packs, especially for like survival servers. I like to make like friendly games, which one is actually going to be releasing soon on my channel. So if you're interested, make sure to subscribe. As well as that, there's also just like gameplay stuff. I talked about map making earlier. Data packs with map making are so much fun. Like, I made one for my friend's birthday, and It turned out really well, other than the fact it was made out of duct tape, but like I made a really cool like boss battle, and with alongside resource packs, like I got to add like custom music, and it was really cool. Like it was like, and this boss battle was really cool because, you know, despite it being like a bunch of like functions strung together and probably being the most unperformant thing ever, it turned out pretty well. There was a lot of clever attacks, it was challenging, and there was stuff to do to figure out. So, you know, maybe I'll share it someday, but I thought like the way that data packs work now are so cool, especially when things like custom paintings now are just becoming possible, or wolf variants. And I hope they do more to that, because I'm now stuck in like this bridge where I love vanilla gameplay, but I like modifying the game, not because I like to play it like that, but because I like to just create really cool things. And Minecraft is a bit basic enough to do that, while also being complex enough to do really cool things. Like, some people obviously have done things like implemented a physics system and do some really, like, neat tricks with commands and, like, item functions to get certain results that aren't really intended. And I really like that. Like, that side of, like, figuring out how the game works and, like, exploiting it to create a new, like, system and pretty much your own game inside this. It really makes Minecraft feel like a game engine. It's really hard to say what it means to me when when the game literally splits itself and almost feels like two different games in one. So, you know, it's really hard to answer that question, especially when, as I said, you know, you have survival, you have creative, you have all these different ways of playing, you have all these different ways of experiencing it, and you have everyone has different reactions to it, from the history of how they played it and got into it to just, you know, playing it now and their playstyles and like how they build, how they create, how they do redstone, all that stuff. It's all individual and independent, and what Minecraft means to me, I don't know. Okay, as I finished rambling these past couple hours, I think I've finished this room. I'm definitely going to expand upon it, but I'm kind of getting tired, and, you know, I think this is simple enough to where it's okay, and it's, you know, there's expansion, but it doesn't just leave this like a blank wall. So now that I have it getting started, it'll be easier to work and come back to. I asked my friend what Minecraft meant to him, and he said it was to, you know, spend time and make memories and essentially just like live childhood. For me, I asked another friend, and they were like, Minecraft's stupid. It's a children's game. I'm just like, how could you? And then I asked a third person, and they were like, Minecraft to them is about a canvas. They can create the world and, you know, build and design and, you know, just experience a sandbox. And all these answers felt very unsatisfying towards me. Because, once again, everyone has a different emotional appeal. And for me, none of them just hit it right. And after playing this game for such a long time, and now that it's finally 15 years old, I think I have to come up with an answer of what Minecraft means to me. Hey guys, so it's Editor Camo here, and a little funny story. I might have recorded the entire clip muted about what Minecraft means to me. And honestly, I used a lot of big words in that entire message, and I don't think I'll be able to ever recapture what I said there because it was truly beautiful, but I will try to retell it in some capacity. So what Minecraft means to me is it's kind of like a mirror that reflects like a journey of change. Because throughout all of this, throughout all my rambling, throughout all my discoveries and breaking down to the game, I realize at the end of the day, what it means to me is it literally is just reflecting how I've grown and changed and how my friends and literally everyone, like every aspect of this game has changed. It's all about like identity in the end. So like the way that it's kind of like almost like a physical manifestation of showing change in this journey. I think that's what Minecraft is to me because, you know, I went from a little humble Pocket Edition user to now, you know, designing data packs and still playing survival and recording and resource pack making and console edition and Minecraft Dungeons modding. So, you know, like it's all over the place now. And I think it's just meant to show, like, you know, how we expand and change and how we journey. And while, like, you know, this is me now, it might not be me in the next couple of years. So yeah, that's what Minecraft means to me. Let me know what you think Minecraft means to you in the comments. It can be as corny as that answer that I just gave you, or it could be like, you know, very simple. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because I'm going to do a recap video of why I just haven't made like an episode in like 12 months. And other than that, you know, also stay tuned for 1.21, the Tricky Trials update, because that's coming out very soon. So please watch that when I make an update video on that. It's probably going to be longer, but, you know, I think it'll be fun. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.